So you want to be a YouTuber. You picture a camera, a bedroom, and a video earning money while you sleep. No boss, no commute, no fixed salary ceiling. You make the video once, publish it once, and the internet keeps working after you stop. 10 viewers can become 10 million without rebuilding the product. A 6-month-old upload can suddenly clock in and pay you again. And if one idea catches fire, your phone becomes a studio, your bedroom becomes a company, and Monday morning becomes optional. That is the money dream. But the same system that removes the salary ceiling also removes the salary floor. YouTube does not pay for your hours. It shares revenue only when viewers choose, watch, and remain satisfied. A video can earn while you sleep, or almost nothing after a week of work. So freedom changes shape. You have no single boss. You answer to an audience, advertisers, and a distribution system you do not control. The real career is not simply making videos. It is building a small media company before it can reliably pay you. At first, that company is almost invisible. You choose an idea. But before recording it, you must decide who it is for, why a stranger would care, and whether the title and thumbnail communicate that promise. Now you are an editor and a marketer. You research, script, clear footage, record, edit, check rights, and export. Now you are a researcher, producer, presenter, editor, and rights manager. Then the video goes live. You answer comments, read analytics, negotiate a sponsor, send an invoice, track expenses, save for tax, and diagnose whether the idea, packaging, or distribution failed. Now you are community support, sales, finance, and strategy. The title YouTuber hides all of this inside one word. That matters because every attractive benefit comes from the same compression. You control the schedule because no employer is performing those functions for you. You own the upside because you also own the unpaid work, the weak months, the mistakes, and the recovery plan. The freedom is genuine, so is the transfer of risk. And before you can decide whether that bargain is worth making, you must pass 4 different gates that outsiders often collapse into one. The first gate is almost frictionless. You create a channel, follow the platform's rules, publish original work, and begin. There is no hiring manager rejecting your resume, nobody requires a media degree, you do not need permission to start. But starting is not monetizing. In eligible regions, earlier partner program access begins after 3 things. Reach 500 subscribers, publish 3 valid public uploads within 90 days. Then reach either 3,000 valid public watch hours in 12 months or 3 million valid public shorts views in 90 days. Full watch page advertising and YouTube premium revenue sharing use a higher gate. Reach 1,000 subscribers. One route is 4,000 valid public watch hours in 12 months. The other is 10 million valid public shorts views in 90 days. Those thresholds turn on earning tools. They do not create a salary. They also do not excuse the work from platform rules. A channel applying for monetization is reviewed as a whole, not merely by counting the latest upload. YouTube says monetized content should be original and authentic. It should not be mass-produced, generic, repetitive, or manipulative. A copied clip with permission can still fail the platform's reuse content standard, because permission and monetization review answer different questions. So the easiest-looking shortcut can create a channel that collects views, but cannot safely turn them into a business. YouTube has no threshold that says your revenue can replace a salary. There is no threshold that buys health insurance, covers equipment, pays contractors, survives a weak month, finances the next video, or lets you become ill without damaging the channel. The distance between earning and earning a living appears clearly in brand campaign data. Creator IQ's 2025 payment analysis covered 14,400 creators who received direct payments. The average payment was $11,400. The median was only $3,000. And the top 10% of creators received 62% of all payment volume. These are campaign payments across Creator IQ's market, not YouTube salaries. But the gap between the average and the median reveals the trap. A few large payments can make the opportunity look more typical than it is. The first 3 gates ask whether you are allowed to earn. Gate 4 asks whether the system can support a human life. To see that gate, imagine one illustrative production week. It is Monday morning. The difficult decision is not what you want to make. It is what a particular viewer will choose. You have 6 ideas. One is difficult to explain, one has a strong title but weak payoff, and one resembles 20 competing videos. An inexperienced creator begins filming the favorite. An experienced creator tests the promise first. Can the idea become a clear title? Can one image communicate the tension? Would somebody who does not know you understand why the answer matters? This is the first insider rule. Package before producing, but if the packaging cannot earn the first decision, nobody reaches the work. By Tuesday, you have selected the idea. Now you research it. One source contradicts your premise. Another reveals that your favorite example is an outlier. You rebuild the easy script into an honest one. Wednesday becomes preparation. You rewrite the opening, find footage, build graphics, charge batteries, clear space, and discover that the microphone cable is failing. Thursday is recording day. You repeat one sentence 8 times. A truck passes. The camera stops. A section that felt natural on the page sounds mechanical aloud. You rewrite again. The schedule is flexible because nobody tells you when to work. Every unfinished role still belongs to you. Friday becomes editing. You remove the beautiful introduction because it delays the reason to care. You replace a clever explanation with a simple example. You watch the same 10 seconds until you can no longer tell whether it is clear. There is no bell at 5. The weekend arrives, but publication is not. You finish the thumbnail, check the description, confirm the sponsor language, examine copyright restrictions, process the file, upload it, and wait for the checks to complete. Then you press publish. For a moment, the work is done. If the video includes a sponsor, another job appears. You must make the promise attractive without making it misleading. And you must disclose the relationship clearly. In the United States, the Federal Trade Commission says a material connection belongs in the video, not hidden only in the description. The sponsor may approve the creative idea, then reject one sentence, then ask for a new cut after the upload deadline. A creator who looked independent on camera may spend Friday evening negotiating language between a brand, a platform policy, and the audience's trust. Then the evidence begins. Some viewers choose the video. Some leave. Comments expose a question you failed to answer. A sponsor asks for the invoice. Revenue will arrive later. Tax will arrive after that. And the performance of this video begins shaping the next one. Publishing does not end the work. It produces the evidence and obligations that design the next production cycle. That is the live job. But it still does not tell you what your life will look like, because YouTuber contains at least 3 very different careers. The format you choose determines which freedom you receive and which part of your life pays for it. In the first version, your personality is the product. You vlog, perform, react, teach on camera, or build a community around your voice and daily perspective. You can work from almost anywhere. Ordinary life supplies material. Viewers feel that they know you, and that intimacy can create extraordinary loyalty. It can also erase the border around the work. A trip becomes footage. A relationship creates questions. A bad week produces silence that the audience notices. Your face, mood, home, health, and private decisions can begin to feel like inputs in the content system. If your personality is the product, your schedule is flexible, but your private life can become inventory. So your first lifestyle decision is not whether you are comfortable on camera. It is how much of yourself the format requires, and whether the channel can survive when that part of you needs privacy. In the second version, you build a research-led or faceless channel. The audience may know your narration without knowing your home, partner, location, or daily routine. You recover privacy. You may even design a format that another narrator or editor can eventually help produce. From the outside, this version looks more passive. Inside, it may resemble a demanding research desk. You spend long blocks alone with sources, scripts, revisions, footage, licenses, timelines, and an editing queue nobody else can see. You can disappear from the camera while remaining trapped behind the screen. The lifestyle is often quiet rather than glamorous. Monday can be 6 hours of reading without one usable sentence. Tuesday can be a spreadsheet of sources and image rights. Wednesday can disappear inside a timeline where every 3 seconds needs a visual decision. You may be able to work from a beach, but the laptop still needs 10 focused hours. And glare is terrible for color correction. Location freedom does not automatically create time freedom. If the channel can survive without your face, you recover privacy. In exchange, freedom may look like long research days, editing queues, and deadlines nobody else can see. Faceless does not mean effortless. It means the pressure moves. In the third version, the channel becomes a company. You hire an editor, then a thumbnail designer, perhaps a producer organizes research and deadlines. You finally remove yourself from tasks that once consumed entire days. But the work does not vanish. It changes category. Your calendar fills with hiring, approvals, sponsor negotiations, feedback, payroll, contracts, and cash flow decisions. The editor needs a decision before the video can move. The sponsor needs a revision. The team needs work next month, even if this month's views fall. You may edit less, but now slowing down affects other people's income. Success has converted you from maker into executive. That transition is already common across the broader creator market. Creator IQ found that 62% of surveyed creators worked with operational support, full-time employees, part-time freelancers, or outsourced tasks such as editing and copywriting. Growth does not simply remove work, it moves the work into management. This creates another insider rule. Do not hire merely because you are busy. Hire when removing a specific bottleneck is worth the recurring cost, and when you actually want the job that remains. The same title hides 3 different lives. So the question is no longer, do you want to be a YouTuber? It is, which version of the job are you willing to live? Your answer changes the production cost, the personal exposure, and the amount of revenue the channel must generate. But none of those choices matter if viewers never choose the video. And that decision is where effort stops being a reliable predictor of reward. You spend 40 hours on one video. Another creator spends 4. The platform does not compare the labor, it observes audience response. YouTube describes performance through three broad questions: appeal, engagement, and satisfaction. First, when the video is offered, do people choose it? Then, after choosing, do they keep watching? Finally, did the experience appear to satisfy them? That sounds simple until you open the analytics. Your click-through rate changes by traffic source. A search viewer, a homepage browser, and a loyal returning viewer arrive with different intentions. So one blended number can hide several different stories. This creates the second insider distinctions. Diagnose performance by audience context, not by a universal benchmark. A low click-through rate from a broad homepage test may mean the video traveled beyond your core audience. A high rate among loyal viewers does not prove it can travel. The number is not the diagnosis, it is the beginning of one. But you cannot force distribution. Competition and viewer interests change. A strong video can meet a weak moment, while an ordinary video meets sudden demand. That uncertainty creates a dangerous response. When one video succeeds, you raise the production value. The next one needs more research, better equipment, a more ambitious location, or another employee. Expectations rise immediately. Dependable revenue may not. Growth can increase cost before it increases control. This is why subscriber count is such an incomplete trophy. YouTube itself says subscribers are not the most accurate estimate of your active audience. Some subscribers stop watching. Some viewers return repeatedly without subscribing. Monthly audience, unique viewers, returning viewers, casual viewers, and regular viewers tell you whether people are actively choosing the work now. That creates the third insider rule. Track the audience that returns, not only the audience that once clicked subscribe. A subscriber is a recorded past decision. A returning viewer is a repeated present decision. And repeated decisions are what make the money system less fragile. Once you enter the partner program, views can enter several revenue systems. For watch page advertising, YouTube currently pays creators 55% of net advertising revenue. For Shorts feed advertising, creators receive 45% of the revenue allocated to them through the creator pool. Memberships, Super Chat, Super Stickers, and Super Thanks pay creators 70% of net revenue under the platform's published terms. Those percentages sound precise, your paycheck is not. YouTube explicitly says the partner agreement does not guarantee how much you will be paid, or whether you will be paid at all. Not every view produces an ad. Advertiser demand changes. Audience geography matters. Topic, season, video length, viewer behavior, and the share of monetized playbacks all matter. That is why a universal promise about earnings per thousand views is misleading. And gross revenue still is not take-home income. The channel may pay for equipment, software, music, footage, travel, insurance, contractors, accounting, and the production of the next video. In the United States, you also operate a business whose income and expenses must be tracked, and whose taxes are no longer quietly handled like an employee paycheck. Then there are sponsors. A sponsor can make one video dramatically more valuable. It can also cancel, delay approval, request changes, or disappear next month. Products, memberships, fan support, services, licensing, and affiliate revenue can reduce dependence on ads. Even approved money may arrive too late. In a 2025 Morning Consult survey of 1,067 creators across 5 countries, commissioned by Visa, 26% said payment delays had affected their ability to produce content. A signed campaign can be revenue on paper and still fail to finance next week's video. But diversification has a trap. 5 revenue streams can become 5 additional jobs. Memberships require benefits and community attention. A product needs support, refunds, inventory, or software maintenance. Affiliate income needs accurate recommendations and clear disclosure. Sponsors require sales, contracts, revisions, and invoices. A service business can pay sooner, but client work can consume the exact hours the channel needs. Diversification is useful when the systems are compatible. It is exhausting when every income source creates a different company. The goal is not to collect every possible income source. It is to reduce concentration without multiplying the workload beyond what you can repeat. Now, the real career can be expressed with one equation. Creator durability equals returning audience, multiplied by revenue mix, multiplied by repeatable production, minus business costs and platform dependence. Every part of the lifestyle now enters the economics, and one common strategy breaks almost every variable at once. Imagine that one video explodes. It brings 1 million views, thousands of subscribers, sponsor interest, and a month of revenue that looks like proof. You quit the job, you upgrade the camera, hire an editor, promise weekly uploads, and design the next video to be even larger. But the new subscribers came for one subject, not necessarily for you. The sponsor payment was episodic. The next idea cost more to produce. Your monthly obligations are now higher, and the audience expects the scale of the hit. The success did not create freedom. It created a deadline. This is the viral treadmill. One hit creates higher expectations. Higher expectations create more production. More production meets an unstable return. The unstable return removes recovery. Less recovery weakens the repeatability that the business needed most. Competent creators can lose here. The failure is not a lack of talent or discipline. It is a format whose cost, frequency, and personal exposure rise faster than dependable revenue. You respond by working harder. That can make the system worse. If your daily life supplies the content, taking time off removes the product. If every video is more ambitious, the back catalog teaches viewers to expect escalation. If one platform supplies nearly all discovery and income, a change you do not control can reach your household budget. This is the hidden price of unlimited upside. There is no conventional salary ceiling, but there may be no stable floor. Creator compensation research repeatedly finds an uneven market, and brand payments can be concentrated and episodic. The headline opportunities are real. They are not evenly distributed. So do not ask whether the best month can replace your salary. Ask whether an ordinary month can pay for an ordinary life and finance the next production cycle. Then ask whether it can survive tax and preserve the person creating the work. That is a much harder test. It also explains why burnout is not merely a personal weakness. Sometimes burnout is the financial model revealing itself through the body. The Irish creator Melanie Murphy offers a useful stress test. After years of publishing, Murphy described a major burnout episode. She eventually reduced her schedule from 1 or 2 YouTube videos each week to roughly 2 per month. She estimated that the change improved her work-life balance but reduced annual earnings by about €20,000. The lesson is not that her exact schedule or result will happen to you. The lesson is that the original system attached income to a pace she no longer wanted to sustain. Reducing output protected the person, it also reduced the money. That is the equation becoming visible. If repeatable production weakens, durability falls. If the format requires constant personal exposure, recovery becomes expensive. If revenue is concentrated around frequent publishing, a healthier lifestyle can feel like a pay cut. The obvious answer is to push through. But pushing through may preserve the month while damaging the career. YouTube's own creator guidance acknowledges burnout risk and recommends boundaries, breaks, realistic goals, and attention to well-being. Those practices matter. Yet a calendar boundary cannot repair a business that collapses whenever the creator rests. The stronger solution begins earlier. You choose a publishing rhythm before the audience chooses it for you. You cap the cost of an episode before success makes escalation feel mandatory. You design at least some content that survives ordinary life, illness, travel, or a week without public access to your emotions. You also build a buffer. This is the fourth insider practice. Do not leave stable employment because of one exceptional month. Leave when you can finance several production cycles, tax, benefits, and time away without requiring the previous upload to rescue the next one. That buffer buys more than time, it buys decision quality. Without it, a weak video forces a desperate sponsor, a rushed sequel, or another week of overtime. With it, you can diagnose the problem before reacting to it. But a buffer alone does not create a durable channel. Savings eventually run out. Something else must compound while individual videos rise and fall. That asset is the returning audience relationship. And one unusually large creator business shows what that relationship can support if you do not mistake the outlier for the normal path. Complexly, the educational media company associated with Hank and John Green sits far beyond the scale of a solo beginner. According to Associated Press reporting in 2026, the organization had roughly 80 employees and projects with billions of views, yet only about 1/10 of its revenue came from YouTube advertising. Another 10th came from Patreon, with additional support from products, donors, institutions, and philanthropic partners. That does not mean your small channel should copy an 80-person company. It proves a narrower point. Attention becomes more durable when trust can support more than one transaction. The valuable asset was not merely a pile of views. It was an audience relationship strong enough to move across formats and funding systems. This changes how you judge growth. If a viral video brings strangers who never return, it may create revenue without creating much career security. If a smaller video brings the right viewers back to the next one, it strengthens the hidden asset. This does not make every small audience profitable. It means the direction of the relationship matters. The durable creator therefore asks different questions. Not only, how many people watched, but who returned? What promise did they return for? Can I make that promise again without increasing the cost? And can the relationship support the business if one revenue source weakens? Those questions lead to the winning model. It is less glamorous than virality. It is also more useful. The winning model is repeatability with options. Before expensive production, you test whether the idea can become a clear promise. After publication, you diagnose by traffic source and audience context. You track returning viewers instead of treating subscribers as guaranteed demand. You choose a production ceiling. Not every successful video must make the next video more expensive. Some of the gain should become buffer, not spectacle. You choose a sustainable rhythm. The ideal schedule is not the most frequent schedule you can survive for 1 month. It is the schedule you can repeat through an ordinary year, while preserving the quality the audience came for. YouTube itself says its analyses have not found growth in views across uploads to be correlated with the time between uploads. That does not mean the schedule is irrelevant. A viewer can still form an expectation, a sponsor can still buy a date, and your format can still lose momentum. It means daily or weekly publishing is not a law of nature. The useful schedule is a promise the audience understands, and the production system can keep without converting every delay into an emergency. You reduce revenue concentration carefully. Ads, one reliable sponsor category, membership, a product, or direct audience contact can reduce dependence. But each route must earn its maintenance cost and carries rules of its own. You protect the person as part of the business. That may mean a format with less private exposure, a production buffer, documented workflows, a trained backup, or permission to publish less often without turning the absence into a crisis. And you hire only when the removed bottleneck creates more value than the recurring obligation. This is not passive income, it is designed leverage. Before going full-time, run one more test. Remove the best month from your spreadsheet. Add the cost of tax, insurance, replacement equipment, and one failed production. Delay a sponsor payment by 60 days. Then give yourself a week in which you cannot film. If the business still funds the next cycle, the career is beginning to possess a floor of its own. If it fails, the answer is not necessarily to quit. The answer may be to keep the channel as a side business while the system learns to survive ordinary bad luck. You perform the work once, and the back catalog may continue returning attention. You build trust repeatedly, and that trust may support several revenue mechanisms. You create a system that does not require every upload to win. Now you can finally compare two versions of the same career. They begin with the same creator, the same topic, the same skill, the same audience, the same savings, and the same starting revenue. Only the operating choices change. Give both versions of the channel the same brand campaign payment, $3,000, the median in Creator IQ's 2025 direct payment data. This is not a monthly salary, a YouTube rate, or a prediction of what you will earn. It is one gross campaign payment before production costs and tax. In the first future, you publish every 2 weeks. The schedule is slower, but repeatable. Each episode has a fixed cost ceiling. Because recurring obligations stay low, more of that payment can extend the production buffer instead of rescuing overdue work. Returning viewers are rising, and the channel has more than one tested source of revenue. Growth is less dramatic, control is growing. When a video underperforms, you have time to diagnose it. When a sponsor disappears, another part of the business still exists. When you need a break, the production system bends instead of breaking. In the second future, you publish weekly. The channel begins from the same position, but every release depends on personal overtime. Each successful video raises the next production cost. The same $3,000 payment must now be divided among recurring production obligations before any owner pay remains. Revenue still comes mostly from ads and irregular sponsors. Growth looks faster. Control is shrinking. A weak upload threatens the next one. A break removes both content and revenue. Hiring becomes necessary before the income is dependable enough to make hiring safe. Neither future was decided by talent. Both began with the same talent. The gross payment was identical. The security it purchased was not. The difference was whether the channel converted attention into a returning relationship, several compatible sources of revenue, and a production rhythm the creator could repeat. That is the real progression path. You do not simply advance from small creator to large creator. First, you perform every task. Then you control a repeatable format and own an audience relationship. Finally, you decide whether the next version of the job should remain a craft or become a company. Now return to the opening image. You are asleep, and an old video is still working. At the beginning, that looked like passive freedom. Now you can see the system behind it. The idea earned a choice. Production costs stayed survivable. The audience returned. Revenue did not depend on one source, and the buffer allowed the person to sleep. This career can fit you if you want creative ownership. It can fit if you want public feedback and repeated experimentation. You must also accept responsibility for building the business around the work. It is a dangerous, full-time transition if competent effort must produce a predictable paycheck. The same is true if public performance must remain separate from your identity, or if you love making videos but do not want the sales, analytics, finance, and operational work around them. You do not become a professional YouTuber when strangers recognize you, when one video goes viral, or even when YouTube turns on ads. You become one when the system can pay for the next video, protect the person making it, and survive a month when the audience chooses something else. The video can work while you sleep only because you built a system that can keep working when you wake up.